WMMR rocks.
With Preston and Steve.
All right, we're going to do a couple of things in this break, and one of them we're going to start off with one of Philly's own getting a film made about him. It's a short documentary.
Yep.
And a long time coming because this guy's been around for a long time doing what he does, over 30 years. And obviously, if you've been to a Flyers game, you know exactly who I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, the voice of the Flyers, the man who brings you the Pico Power Play, Lou Nolan.
You, how are you?
Good, Lou. How you?
Good. It's great to be among radio royalty here. This is
stop that,
the show.
And listen to that monster voice on this guy. I love that. And Lou, by the way, the film that I had referred to is called Lou Nolan: A Life in Hockey, and it's a short documentary. And we also have the executive producer, Christopher O'Brien, who is here with you as well. So, Chris, welcome to the show.
Great to be here.
So, when did they approach you with this idea, Lou?
I guess it was during the playoffs last season. Chris had an idea about doing this, and I sat with him for actually at the game prior to for maybe an hour or so, and.
I just don't like this guy.
He put it together with quality stuff.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Well, your life provides, and your history with the Flyers provides a rich amount of material to select from. Was it weird for you to kind of, I mean, because obviously you know your own past, but to be reminded of it through a documentary, it's got to be a little bizarre.
A lot bizarre.
A lot bizarre.
Yeah, a lot bizarre. When I saw it the first time, I said, whoa, geez, I do all that. You know?
I'd like to meet that guy.
Yeah, holy cow.
Over the years, Lou, how many games have you missed? How many Flyers games? And how many years?
Well, 40 years now as the announcer. Yeah, that's why my hair's white, you know, Nick. Or silver, as somebody told me. Silver. But, you know, it's maybe a dozen.
A dozen. Because the last time I remember one happening, Matt Cord, our buddy, who does it, it's a similar job to you for the Sixers, filled in for you. And Matt considered it just a huge honor because, A, it doesn't happen very often, and B, he's filling some pretty big shoes. And he did an admirable job. I was actually at that game when Matt did it.
Matt is a quality guy, and you all know that, and did a really nice job. But I don't give people too many opportunities, you know. It'd be like the thing with that. What's the guy's name? Pip, that Lou Gehrig played the game behind it.
Wally Pip, right?
That's right, Wally Pip. Yeah. Don't give too many opportunities.
Yeah, but you're right, because I remember when Matt did it as well, and I said to him, do you think you'll get to do it again? And he was like, no, because he doesn't miss any games. I was like, oh, yeah, you're right.
So obviously a large portion of this focuses in on your time at the Spectrum and all of that. When was your first time behind the mic, and how did you happen to end up behind the mic?
Well, the announcer that was down there prior to me was named Kevin Johnson. A series of people going through it, along with Gene Hart, who we all know that name.
And he took a day off, didn't he?
Yeah, well, he took a season off. He went with the Philadelphia Blazers, which was a team that was coming in from a different hockey league, and that didn't work out too well. But he thought he'd give it a shot as their PR director. Then they moved to Vancouver, so they didn't need a Philadelphia guy in Vancouver. But he was out, and I said, I'd like to do that because all he was doing was writing, and there weren't TVs all over the place,
sure.
You know, like there are in a press box area.
Right.
So I'd be writing, I'd hear a roar, I'd look up, you know, hey, it was a goal. Okay. So I'd find out what the answer was, then I would pick up the phone and tell the people in the press box. So it was kind of a natural thing. But I auditioned for it, and it was when they were putting that third level on.
Yes.
So they had the cranes in there, and I went over to audition, and they're crank up the crane. I said, guys, can you turn the crane off? They all kind of looked and ding, 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 ding. And they put it down, and the guy said, you got the job, so as long as it doesn't upset you.
Wow.
But first game, I get hit with the puck bucket, the ice. The guy threw it at the other guy against Buffalo, I guess it was. I don't remember exactly, but it was interesting.
Yeah. And you got hit with it?
Yeah, he picked it up. It used to be there'd just be a bucket.
Yeah.
And they'd throw ice in there, and they put pucks in it. And the guy picked it up and sort of chucked it at the other guy, not the bucket itself, but the contents.
Yeah,
and I get hit with it.
That's nice.
That's a great first game.
With this retrospective of your life, what one moment stands? I know it's the default question, but you have to ask when you spend so many years doing what you do. What is the one moment that just stands out as, oh my God, this is it? This is the defining moment for me.
Well, you know, Chris put it in there well, and in the documentary, and it basically is Stanley Cup 1.
Stanley Cup 1?
Which was here, and I think I said something about the last minute of play.
Yeah.
When it starts to hit you that, hey, we might win this. Bobby Orr got a penalty, and we were on the power play. Sorry. Beep, 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 beep.
You say that at the Wells Fargo Center?
No, never do.
All right.
Shoot, this might happen.
Shoot. I think that's what I said.
Nolan has a potty mouth?
He does.
Oh, man.
I could see that being the big moment. And,
sure.
It was almost a big moment a couple of years ago, and every now and then we get close.
Close, but no banana,
Yeah.
Close doesn't count.
Yeah.
But it'll happen again. This is a pretty good team.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got a good team here. They're exciting. They're young. You make 10 changes, and that's half a team.
Anybody any of the other players ever mouthed off at you, from the opposing teams? You get a name wrong or something like that, or
Yeah. The young guys, the other guys have a bit of respect, but the young guys do it, and call you names and stuff like this.
Well, when they do it, do you then on purpose mispronounce the name every time after that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's Andre Jerkoff-Lini.
But so the higher ups don't care if you purposely.
Well, they care, sure. I mean, I don't do it on a continuing basis, I guess. But
you don't want to be disrespectful.
Try and put somebody down a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just not right.
Do you have a decent relationship with Ed Snyder?
Oh yeah, great relationship. I mean, he's been around since the beginning, and I'm really an original Flyer. So
it's just interesting because Winnipeg has a team again, and we've seen a lot of organizations come and go, and cities get a hockey team and lose a hockey team, and Philadelphia has been lucky enough to have one for decades now. Mm-hmm. It's funny that cities just don't embrace it the same way we do.
It is weird. Yeah. I mean, it's such a compelling game, but there are some teams that just bypass it completely. Could give a rat's ass.
I think that initially when the team came in here and, there were 8,000, 9,000, 10,000, and the players themselves were lunch pail guys, they'd hang out at Rexy's.
Sure. Right.
They'd see fans after the game. They didn't make a ton of money, and people identified with them. They'd stop, they'd sign for him and all this afterward. And people identified with it. And Ed Snyder just initially said, I know this will work here.
Yeah.
Because he knew the city. And, boy, it worked.
Yeah.
This is something else. But he is absolutely great owner.
I read an article yesterday by one of my favorite writers, a guy named Bill Simmons, and he lives out in Los Angeles. And he bought season tickets to the Kings this year because, obviously, the NBA is in a state of confusion. There's no certainty that the season will happen at all. And he wrote a point that I thought was really valid, was that the NHL really stands to capitalize on the NBA's failures this season, and the Flyers, among other teams, can pick up a lot of fans because the NBA might screw up their whole season. And I think the NHL has done a really good job at learning that you gotta take care of your fans.
Oh yeah,
you have to be fan friendly, and the Flyers are top notch at doing that as well.
Well, you'll recall they took a whole year off.
Yeah,
it was like,
and it almost killed them.
It was I remember my wife Ellen saying to me, "Well, when do you think they're going to strike?" I said, "Nah, they won't strike. They'll settle." Well, then it was like, "Well, maybe they'll be back, by Thanksgiving," and then it was like, "Maybe they'll be back for Christmas for a short season." Then it was canceled by Bettman, then it was back on by Bettman, then it was canceled totally, and it was
those were dire times. I remember it because not only is the actual sport gone, but the peripheral things and the people who make their living based on peripheral things concerning the team, that all goes away. So, and man, I remember a lot of people holding a grudge for quite a while against hockey, against the Flyers.
Sure.
It took a lot of repair to get it back up and running.
You're absolutely right.
It's a lesson to be learned.
And the NBA should learn from that. It's just these guys make so much money.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
they quibble over a percent of this or a percent of that, and I'm sure there are other issues that we don't know about.
Yeah.
Or they're not publicized. But geez, just like football guys with health care, once they're out of football.
Yeah.
You're a big guy. You probably played ball when you were younger, right?
Yeah.
So you're paying for a little now with your knees and things like that, And imagine if you're that's right. Vasectomy. Remember, if you're 300 pounds and you're an interior lineman and you're doing this every day, geez, by the time you retire 2 years later, you get new knees.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So let me ask, how does one see the documentary?
Well, you can log on to Fanadelphia.com.
Okay.
It's the website that I'm the executive producer for, and it's on there. You can check it out. And
how long is it, by the way, in length?
It's about 12 minutes. It's
okay.
very brief and concise.
Cool.
People have gotten a great response on it so far, and Lou was just an awesome subject.
That's excellent.
I was told that it is HBO quality by someone who knows, so that to me says a lot.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Fanadelphia.com. By the way, at the Winter Classic, you're going to be out there, right? You're going to be doing
Absolutely.
that's going to be pretty damn cool.
That'll be cool. I went up to Boston with my boys Matt and Jeff the other year. We were there, and it was freezing.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking to myself, gee, sooner or later we're going to get a game here, and I'm going to be there. So they tell me I'm going to be on the ice like I usually am now.
Yeah. Very
nice.
cool.
In the penalty box. So
That's cool.
we'll see what happens.
All right, so
Excellent.
who do the Flyers have tonight?
The Caps,
Okay,
man.
Yeah.
I knew that. All right.
Undefeated. 5-0, yeah.
My friend called me the other day. He is basically what Mac did, and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He's doing that in between periods tonight.
Oh, taking a shot on goal
to
for
win a
prize.
car.
Wow.
To win a car. He's like, dude, I haven't had a hockey stick in my hand in like
Go
a
practice.
decade. So he called the Springfield Ice Rink. They gave him like 45 minutes of ice time.
Nice.
Really?
Yeah. So I was like, bring whatever stick you're using that you practice with. See if you can bring that tonight, because he gets one shot. I don't know how big the opening is that he
Not
shoots
that
on.
big.
Not that right? Smaller.
It's
Probably puck size.
And do they shoot from center ice?
I guess. For a car, probably, yeah. I would think so.
Pretty amazing.
So that's tonight?
That's tonight.
Wouldn't that be
He's
great?
looking for a duster to wear, by the way, just like Mac was wearing in It's Always Sunny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the least of his worries.
Yeah.
I know.
All right, well, cool. Well, listen, we're going to point people in the direction of Fanadelphia.com, and Chris has the documentary on there that you can check out. It's called Lou Nolan, A Life in Hockey, and, who knows? Maybe this will lead to a larger one,
That would be great.
Yeah, so we'll have to see about that. Lou, it's always a pleasure to see you. Thanks for
Same
coming
here,
in this
Preston.
morning, and good luck with everything, okay?
Happy to be here, guys.
All right,
You guys take care.
You got
Thank
it.
you.
Go Flyers. Lou Nolan and Christopher O'Brien, by the way. So, like I said, you can. What was that? What was that?
Oh, I'm sorry.
What? Who's Lou? Thank you. I didn't know you had that. All right. Well, listen, we're gonna switch gears,
Yeah.
and we have to bring our next guest over because